Hey guys, today I'll be showing you casing how to do lighting in Blender. I'm going to show you how to work the tools, how each lights work essentially. So let's get started. First thing, let's as usual delete everything from the starting scene, and we'll just go ahead and add maybe just the monkey in and a light at the moment. Let's go with if we press Shift A, these are our 4 lights, the main lights that we get. We also get light probes, but these are the 4 lights we get, and I'll just run through what it does. So let's put in the point light and showcase what that does. So with this point light, you might not see it because it is inside the guy. If we just press G, we can move it out. And what the point light does essentially, if you want to move it a bit more precise, we can get the gizmo out and move it like so, is it emits light around it. So it's like kind of a directional light, more of a, it just emits light in front of it. You might not see it. We have to go to these 2 modes to be able to see them. As you can see, we can go to viewport shading, which will give us some lighting, a default lighting with this increased, or we have viewport shading, which does what it will actually look like in the final view. This will be where our lighting comes. However, there will be a few lighting changes if we go to different render engines. This is Eevee, so and there's also Cycles. Eevee is a GPU renderer, so it kind of fakes the shadow, whereas Cycles is a ray traced render engine. You'll see it being blurred because it takes time to do this, but you get much softer realistic shadows using this. Typically people use Cycles for the final render unless they're doing like some kind of cell shaded look. However, Eevee is therefore previewing in very quick time. As you can see, I can move this really quickly in Eevee compared to Cycles. If I move it, there'll be a slight little bit of lag involved, even if I go and do the GPU compute. Actually, that's a lot better, but it's still laggy, so that's why we use Eevee for most of that. And with each light, we have this extra tab over here, which is the light. I call it the light bulb tab, but this will allow us to give different settings to the light. And I believe if you go to different settings, you have different like kind of how many bounce. If you go to Cycles, this is how many bounces. So as you ray trace means so the light source will bounce towards it and bounce back to give information to the camera, and this is how many times it does it. Otherwise, in Cycles it doesn't do that because it's all kind of GPU computed. So we have the power. So if we increase the power, the intensity of this light will go off, and we can also increase the radius, which will soften the shadows like so. So just to go through all the lights, there's also sunlight, which we can just click over here and change it to sunlight, or we can go Shift A and mix and match our point light with the sunlight as well, to give off varying effects. As I increase this one up, this should give me a little bit of light over here like so. You see that? So now we have it lit like so. So yeah, this is how we can create our lighting scenes. However, I'm just going to demonstrate what all the lighting does. So what the sunlight does is if you rotate it, it just rotates. It's a fixed light. It's an infinite light source. Wherever you rotate this kind of line to, it will give you that lighting from that direction. So it's good for lighting outside, and also directional lighting, shooting into scenes and all that. And we can go and change the strength of it, like always. This is really strong. And we can also change the angle of it, so we can create more atmospheric diffusion, so like that, like so, and this will give us a little bit more shadows and stuff like that. Now if we change this to a spotlight, the spotlight is it's quite hard to see, but if I put in a plane actually, so if I add a plane in and resize it a little bit, maybe that will help with the lighting of this. Maybe it won't, but we will see. Let's change it up a little bit to 100. As you can see, there is a shadow formulating. If we shoot at 500, it is a bigger shadow. And if I just move this, I won't move it around, I'll just move the light around, just so you guys know, it's just a massive spotlight. There's a few things you can do. Change the power as always. We can also change the radius, so we have softer shadows. We can also choose the beam size, so this will increase the cone essentially, and we can also blend we can fade the blend in, so it can be a really harsh cone light. You can also change the size here as well, if you like that, over using sliders over here. And of course we can always rotate this so that it's shooting at our target like that, for very dramatic effect. This is mainly used for cars, beams, stuff like that. And then lastly, for the default lights, we have area light. So area light is like the same, but it's more of the it's more usually for more diffuse lighting. It's for like shooting out from shooting in from a window, and just overall softer lights. You can change the size, the shape of it, so it can be a rectangle. We can be a disc. I'm not even changing much but as you can see, if we can see it kind of elongates it, and we can will eventually be able to see this light if we turn on another setting, if I remember which. Oh, we have to do different steps to be able to show the light, which will be coming up soon, so let's move on to that. So to turn this, if we wanted to have a metal bar, we would make the similar shape, but for this purpose I'll probably make this little block be neon. So all we have to do is go to the materials tab and just call this, I don't know, emission, and we can go and scroll down to the emission tab and make the strength higher, and this will turn it really bright. So if you ever want to create a scene with the light, you need to put the light source down that emits, and also some kind of like the same similar shape thing, so that it indicates that it is light. This is how you do it in Blender, and of course you can change the size of it. This actually does not particularly emit that much light, even if you think it just makes the object kind of really bright in that sense. So that's what a mesh light does. There's a few more lighting things that we can do, which is world lighting or HDRI lighting. We don't have a HDRI lighting right now, but we can go and grab one. So what we can do here is go to something like called Polyhaven or HDRI Haven, and we can download any of these HDRIs. So I'm just going to download one quickly and import that lighting information into our scene. I really like this sunset scene, because this will probably show us the difference of the thing. So I'm just going to quickly download it. Yeah, download should be good. So I quickly took out all the lights to show you guys how the HDRI works, but firstly there's two ways to do this. We can do this in the shading tab by going into over here and changing this object to world, or we can go into layout and do it this way via this icon over here. We can use nodes, change this one to background, which it already is, change this yellow thing to go to environment texture, and then we can open up our HDRI that we downloaded earlier. So this will be this one, and if we open this up, this should change our background to it and give this the lighting information that that this photo has inquired, and we'll just light our scene accordingly. And with this we can also light up our scene how we would like. So if I wanted a point light, for example, we can make a point light over here and change this to maybe 100. We can add additional lighting so we can fill up our scene. So this will come in handy once we're talking about 3-point lighting, where we have environment light, the main light, and the secondary light source, just to be able to light our character the best way. Another place that I need to recommend you guys is the IES library, which is on, if you just Google IES library, we get to this page, and this is also enhances your library, enhances your lighting, as this has a lot of various profiles, lighting profiles that your light can emit in, the light cones that it can emit in, and it's important if you're making a realistic or like a showroom kind of scene, you get the correct lighting and correct IES light bulbs in there. So let's just download one and I'll showcase you how it's essentially looks. Let's just go find one that looks Doesn't look like default. Let's see. After you've downloaded that, I'm just going to go back quickly to get rid of my world lighting, just so it's easier to see. I'm going to go and go to my one of these ones, points, spot, or area light. Area light will be probably easier to do it with. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my shading editor, and I'm going to go to object this time, and use nodes, so I can go into the lighting itself, and I'm going to go press space or the search bar to put in IES texture. I'm going to go plug it into the, well, it looks like factor, but we'll see. We want to change it to external, and we want to go and find where that guy is. It should be this one, .ies. And now our lighting should emit how it should be seen. So the best way to convey this would probably be if I add a box, for example, or a wall. I'll do a box for now, and just make it a little bit bigger and move it on the Y. This might be a little bit too strong, so let me just lower the power a little bit and move this one closer. Hopefully this will do it. And as you can see, it's kind of creating that shape on the box already. It is very subtle, but it is kind of creating that IES kind of profile. As you can see, it's creating that like fanned out look. If I unplug it, you can see the difference. Actually, that would probably be the best way to show it. Actually, it looks the exact same. But let me just see if I can demonstrate it a little bit better. Okay, so here is it without it, and once I plug it in, this is the lighting profile. As you can see, a massive difference. I had to go to cycles to see it properly. The next lighting setup I'm going to be showcasing you guys will be something called gobos, and what these are basically a light texture in front of the light, so it casts shadows of like leaves, tree branches, and stuff like that. So the first thing we need to do is go and find just a random image on Google of the texture that we want to implant onto our scene. I'm going to use this one as the test. So after you have found a picture that you want with a relatively simple background, we can go ahead and remove the said background and import it into Blender. So I'm going to use this quick site called remove.bg. Go in here, and I'm going to go quickly drag and drop this in over here if I can. If not, I'll just copy and paste it. Copy image and paste it over, and that should remove my background pretty quickly. I don't think it did a better enough job. I might find a different picture, but that is the process that I'm going to go ahead once I find the correct picture. Of course, you can always do this by hand on Photoshop or whatnot. Actually, I might as well give this one a try and see what it looked like, to be honest with you. It looks like the image is not working, so we'll try a different one, but let me just try one last node. So we need to invert the color here, and yeah, it's not really showing up, guys. Usually, oh, it is it picking up? I don't think it's picking it up, guys. It is a little bit picking it up, but it's not really. It is kind of picking it up, but it's just so small that it's really not really showing. Like if I improve the lighting of this a little bit higher, maybe change this to like 100 volts, it is probably, I can see it on the preview, but the image itself is not good enough. So I might, I'll do a quick, I'll find another better image to do this and showcase you the difference. But this is the general setup. We do essentially the same thing, where we, instead of an IES texture, we just drag and drop this guy in, put an invert color node onto it, and just essentially keep our and just plug it into the strength, essentially. So there we go. I just enlarged the size out, and you can see that what this gobo is trying to do essentially is just trying to replicate the light source from those tree foliage, and that just gives you a really nice kind of lighting. You can change the spread out to make it more blurry, or make it really really tight. I think I'm on cycles for this, but it might work in Eevee. It does not work in Eevee, so cycles it is. To get a bit more advanced with this, you can actually make the texture move, but we won't get into that in this video. But this is just some techniques that you can use. Otherwise, let's move on to the next strategy that we can apply, and that will be kind of volumetric lights. So what we need to do that is we need to get a mesh, and we're just going to make a little massive box here, and after that we're going to go into its shader properties. So let's go into their shader properties and give it a new material. I'm going to detach this. I'm going to type in volumetric principled volume. I think that will be the one, and then we're going to plug that into the volume. And let me just make it smaller for now, and as you can see, just doing that will cause it, let's see if it works in Eevee. I don't think it will work in Eevee, but we'll see. It kind of does, but what this essentially does is make kind of a foggy pattern for our scene. So if we go, it's a little bit too dark, so we can change the settings a little bit to make it less dense. And it can kind of, as you can see, it kind of creates a little fog room inside. It's not the best. You'll probably need a lot of time to tweak it, but this is how you would make kind of a volumetric kind of thing. Let me just try and get a better example in, and then I'll show you guys what the effect it could cause. Hopefully that shows it a little bit better. You can just see it's just foggy, giving out god rays, stuff like that. That's just all it is, really. The last thing to show you would be light linking. So this is really important in 3D, because this allows us to create a crazy amazing lighting situations which cannot be possible in real life. So if we go to one of the lights, for example this point light that I still have, and just go to this orange tab, go into the shading, and we have and open up light linking and shadow linking, and we make new groups for them. We can essentially drag in, if I want that point light to be lit by this thing only, you can see that that's the only thing that's lighting it, and if I want the only thing to cast shadows from it, it'll be this. If I put in the cube, for example, I can put in the cube and that will also be lit, and this just creates a crazy effects because I can just turn them on and off. And this plane also has one as well, because it's a emission light that we made earlier, and we're still in cycles. So if I want to put this little guy, if I want this guy to not be lit, I can just turn it off, and now it's only lit by, for example, this point light and not the other light, which is completely crazy to think about, because this would not be able to happen in real life. But this is how you have full control over lighting in Blender. But that's the run through of all the Blender lights and how you can use different lightings to create different effects. There are also more fundamental styles and terms that you can use, such as 3-point lighting, 2-point lighting, high key lighting, low key lighting, stuff like that to enhance your scene. But you can explore that with the tools that I've shown you today, and with just creating different lighting. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys know how to light your scenes now, and how all the different lighting kind of styles work. And I'll see you guys on the next video.